Hi guys, Alice Taylor here, and the Open Championship is about to start at Royal Troon. And the iconic hole there is the par 3/8, the postage stamp. Now, I'm going to talk to you today, very quick video on even at only 122 yards, might be a bit shorter some days, but generally speaking on the card 122 yards, with no wind, how easy that can be, and how the wind is really going to affect how much club, and really show you how much the wind's going to affect the ball. So the different clubs the guys are going to have to hit into that green, and what they're going to do different with their swing and their trajectory of the ball to get the ball hopefully close to the flag. But I'm sure most of the guys would just take middle of the green, 2-putt, get out of there, get onto the 9th tee. So 122 yards for me, flat calm, and I don't hit it as far as some of the boys out there, would just be a nice smooth pitching wedge for me. I'm not trying to do anything particularly fancy with it, just setting up and just putting a normal swing on it with pitching wedge. Okay, so setting off a little bit right, not quite turning over like normal. Try to hit it 122, 120. Okay guys, so obviously on my simulator, SkyTrack, I'm not hitting that onto a green, but we're just looking at kind of the middle line and more about distance control. And I will talk to you about how I would allow for a slightly different shot with different clubs. So second shot, pitching wedge. Setting off in the same line, again just staying there. 115. And again, you can see distance control is ultimately down to me swinging at a similar speed, impact position being fairly similar, and striking it out the same part of the club face, which hopefully with a pitching wedge I can be decent with. Setting up just right, turning over, 126. Okay guys, so you can see with a wedge, and some of the guys will be hitting shorter than that, maybe even sand wedge for some of them if there's no wind. I don't think there'll be no wind though. I'd love to see it blow really hard, but I'm going to move the wind up to kind of 10 to 15 mile an hour straight into us. And for me, I would go probably from a pitching wedge onto an 8-iron. But I'm not looking to hit a full shot with this, because the quicker I swing with this loft, the more spin backspin I'm going to put on the ball, the more drag into the wind that's going to create, the higher the ball's going to go, and actually the shorter it's going to go. So I would, with my 8-iron, I would just move the ball, keep it fairly central, just slightly back of centre, and I'm going to swing a little bit softer and just try and keep the kind of shaft lean a little bit more forward, keep the loft off, which again will reduce spin into the wind. I have done an actual video on shots into the wind, so I'm not going to get too much into the technique, but that's what I'm looking to do. And certainly on my lower ones, I tend to just get the club face a little bit closed compared to my path, so I might shape it a little bit from right to left. But set myself up, nice smooth swing, setting off a little right, turning over. Again, a little bit short. Okay, first one. Not always the most accurate with these shots, but certainly distance control is what it's about. The bad thing on the 8th at Troon, it's not just about distance control, you've got to be accurate. If you get in those bunkers, could take you a few goes to get out. But again, 8-iron, 10 to 15 mile an hour wind. So setting off a little right, turning over a bit more like my shots tend to, even those little punches. Again, 115. And again for me, much lower trajectory. I mean, looking at the numbers there on SkyTrack, wouldn't say I'm spinning that loads less than normal, but certainly it is lower than it would be normal. Setting off right, not turned it over, that'd be missing the green. But again, the distance control maybe just a little bit on the short side. Okay, so we're going to change the wind now from 10 to 15 mile an hour, 20 to 25 mile an hour. Now this is what I'd like to see the guys playing in. So I'm going to go from 8 to 7, maybe even a 6, but I'm going to play these with 7 because I feel that with my flight I can get these in there. So very as I did with 8-iron, I'm going to try and keep the loft off the club through impact, swing a little bit softer, control that trajectory, try and control that distance. So setting off out to the right, turning over, better control at 119 yards. Nearly on that one. So, certainly for me, results might not back this up for what we're watching, but I don't necessarily find these into the wind shots and controlling trajectory maybe quite as challenging, because I did grow up at St Anne's Old Links, where I would say 20 to 25 mile an hour winds is fairly commonplace. So this was a shot I either learnt to play reasonably or I just struggled around the golf course. Okay, so shot number 2, little kind of knockdown 7-iron. Nice and low, too much shape though. Definitely going to be in one of those deep bunkers on the left. Now, obviously when you're watching the guys on TV, you used to see them hit 7-iron kind of 170, 180, 190. I think it's great to see how they adapt to having to hit a 7-iron 120, 130 yards. Final 7-iron. Out to the right, turning over again. Touch long, 129. Yeah, like I was saying before that shot, I love watching the guys influence the ball. I mean, it is a fantastic skill to just be able to stand up there, swing flat out and murder it as far as they can. But I suppose maybe a bit more old school, I enjoy watching the guys hitting those low ones, hitting little low cuts into a flag, working the ball and really influencing the flight of the golf ball. And that's why I love watching the Open. I think it gives you that ability to watch how good the best players in the world are or aren't at really having good influence on their golf ball. So guys, we've seen different shots and different distance control with no wind, 10 to 15 mile an hour and 20 to 25 mile an hour. Now, what I want you to appreciate though is how much of a difference the wind makes to the distance. So normal wedge for me, like I said, probably 122 is my carry. I'm going to hit into this wind just a full wedge and let's see how far it goes. Okay guys, you can see muscling one out there, kind of 80 yards carry, but some of you guys might never play in this type of wind, but it really is a big challenge that if I'm only 80 yards from the green into that kind of wind, making yourself hit a full pitching wedge. You know, for me, I can hit a full lob wedge on a still day further than that. But I hope you've enjoyed the video. Give you a little bit of an insight. Like I said, I wasn't hitting it onto a green, but with the different kind of wind conditions on SkyTrack, we can show you just what a difference the wind makes to the ball and the kind of challenge on such a simple looking hole. Most guys would say 120 yard par 3, love to play that. Not when you're into a 20 or 25 mile an hour wind, you won't. If you're watching this having already watched the Open, I think it'd be amazingly interesting to having seen those shots, and I hope they've got some kind of ball tracking technology with TrackMan or Pro Tracer to watch you or help you watch see that ball flight. So guys, hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, like and share. Leave any comments below. Let me know if you're a good wind player or is this something you could improve on. Subscribe to the channel if you don't already. Hopefully catch up with some of you guys down here in the future. Stay in contact.